Ryan Reynolds, I choose you. Detective Pikachu enters us into a very real world of Pokemon-human interaction that Pokemon Go hunters could only dream of. Ryan Reynolds voices Pikachu as he teams up with a 21-year-old trying to solve the mystery of his missing father and navigate even more sinister forces at work. Can the movie capture the Pokemon and non-Pokemon fan alike? When it comes to movies, do you have to catch them all? Well, let's find out with 5 things you might want to know about Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I was kind of mixed on this movie overall. It didn't really do it for me, and I think I should give some background, even as just a little bit of an aside. I'm not into the Pokemon universe. Don't really know much about it at all. I've seen actually the first movie, and that's about it. So this isn't one that was meant for me, so take everything I say knowing that. However, let's start here. I am a Ryan Reynolds person. I will take Ryan Reynolds in whatever form you want to give him to me. He is always welcome in my movies, and he's great here. He's got such a perfect sense of wit and such a perfect sense of how to embody a character. And with what's going on in this movie, with what he's asked to do to voice Pikachu, it might seem at first to be something that is a little mismatched, but that goes away quickly. Immediately, I bought in to this being the voice and personality of Pikachu as he's communicating with this 21-year-old kid. Ryan Reynolds is a treasure, and I'm always glad to hear him. The other thing I actually did enjoy about the movie is how well represented this world is. The visuals here are really impressive. There's something about seeing a world realized, understanding the idea of world building as it's happening here, that in itself is enough to draw me in. As I'm going into the city where Pokemon and humans interact and work and live together, it's not necessarily what I was expecting, because the only thing I know about Pokemon has to do with a little red and white ball and catching them, and that's not what this movie is about. It's about something else. Even knowing that, I was brought in a very interesting way. It's not easy to do live action and animation together, and this movie really does pull it off. The best thing I can say about the world building and the visuals here and how impressive they are is that this is a universe I want to go back to. I've never really felt that way about Pokemon, no matter what I felt about this movie, and those feelings are complex. I want to see more of this universe, and I think that says something. And I do actually have one more thing nice to say about the movie. Imagine that. And I enjoy that. I like having good things to say. I thought the story turns in this were pretty surprising and wonderful. And not only do they play the role of giving you a different perspective on the movie, but they also serve an emotional purpose in the story. And that a lot of times I think some twists, especially in modern movies, are just twists for twist's sake, and they don't serve the purpose and emotion of what's going on in the film. That's not true here. The place this story goes, the turns it decides to take you in, the revelations that it makes to you are intentionally part of the emotion it's trying to build and what it's trying to say. And because of that, the emotion works. Because of that, there are moments you feel connected to these characters and to the realizations of things that you didn't know that are not only meaningful, but give you an investment in the movie that you wouldn't have otherwise. All right, let's move into the complaints, considering I didn't really enjoy this movie all that much. This is the main one, and what's interesting is I'm going to give it a yellow, because it won't be this way for everybody, but it's a big red for me. Man, this world is a mystery to me. I have to complain about all this stuff. It's unexplained. It's just kind of put there. I feel like I finally understand what someone who's watching the final season of Game of Thrones that has no point of reference on the first 7 seasons or 6 seasons or whatever it might be, or watching Endgame without really watching any of the other Marvel movies. It's like, you know what? I get that you're missing something, and I'm just missing that stuff. There are things that happen in this movie that I just kind of cock my head at and go, okay, I guess that's a thing. I guess that's part of this. I don't know the creatures, so any of the stuff that's winking at me, I don't get. Really reminded me of the World of Warcraft movie in that way, where you can tell there's a lot of things that are meant to make fans go, ooh, cool, I wanted to see that you're just not catching. And when a movie is going like this and just flying over your head every 10 seconds, it's not a great feeling. I'd much rather feel the impact of things hitting me than the breeze of them flying by my head. And unfortunately, in this movie, it was the latter that I felt. And finally, the main flaw, I think, with the movie, and I will admit, maybe part of this does have to do with my own not knowing kind of some of the things that are going on, but I do think it's the movie's fault here. It's a little slow, a little Snorlax, as it might be, a little slowpoke to me at times, and it just kind of, it weaves in and out of the action in a very strange way. So many of these things don't make plot sense. I wanted my action, the moments where things were heightened, to be more plot intensive, to have more to do with what I'm supposed to feel and what I'm supposed to think about what's going on, but it's not necessarily like that. And there are enough of those lulls between those moments and the combination of those moments not meaning as much to me that I did get a little bored several times through the movie. And I do think this is a movie that could have been structured in a different way that becomes more interesting even if you don't know what's going on. Overall, this is fine. It's not great. For somebody who loves Pokemon, I imagine it's going to rank a lot higher than I have it, which is, I'm going to say, a B-. Thanks for checking out this SiftPop review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. Before we do, though, there are lots of ways to connect with what's going on at SiftPop, and we are having a great time. We'd love for you to hang out with us. The website's the first place to start, right? SiftPop.com. Go there, check out the articles, the reviews, all the fun stuff going on there. The podcast, just search for SiftPop in your podcast player. You can hang out with us weekly as we talk about the big releases for that week, other movie news, some other cool stuff, play some games, all that fun podcast stuff. So again, just search for SiftPop, SiftPop. And thank you to members of SiftPop who actually make this possible. Appreciate you so much. You can go to patreon.com/SiftPop, and support starts at $3 a month. There's different level of perks. Some fun stuff, a dedicated podcast feed with bonus episodes, a monthly video hangout, all that kind of cool stuff that we like to do. So, and thank you for doing that and actually keeping this thing going. And of course, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We'd love to have you around when the videos come out. Let's move on to the best ever challenge. This is where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice for the category. We're going to go with best ever movies that have unique pets in them. And there are a lot more than you might think. For my choice, I'm going to go with the one whose unique pet is what happens if you're not really proactive about seeking a dentist. Let's just leave it there. Take a guess at mine in the comments. First person to get it right does get a point. As always, I'll leave you with a few extra seconds here to hit subscribe. Just click the logo when it pops up.